Welcome to Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives, with your host, Singh. This is where leadership meets purpose, presence, and passion. In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, we face a leadership crisis. Too often, teams are led by managers who lack empathy, clarity, and vision, leaving individuals uninspired, disconnected, and undervalued. But it doesn't have to be this way. Great leadership isn't born, it's built. The end game: empower your leadership, inspire the world. Every week, join me, your host Singh, as we tackle the gaps in leadership and life coaching head on, learning how mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and compassion can redefine success. This isn't just another podcast, it's a mission to fill the void left by ineffective leadership. And it's not just about leadership in business. Life coaching for leaders and new executives is at heart of this journey. Ready to rise above the noise and lead with clarity, purpose, and impact? Join a global movement dedicated to reshaping the future of leadership one mindful moment at a time. Let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives on the Transformation Network. This podcast is dedicated to practical discussions on leadership, offering straightforward, actionable, and memorable tools for immediate application. So let's get real for a second. If I asked you where great leadership comes from, what would you say? A 3-day offsite, a TED talk, some $10,000 mastermind where everyone's drinking kumbaya and pretending they understand blockchain? Wrong. The next breakthrough in your leadership, it is not coming from a keynote or a conference. It's coming from what you do in the 3 minutes after brushing your teeth. Yeah, that's right. Toothpaste leadership is a thing now. Don't believe me? Let's talk about Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for a second. Remember, he announced a brand new wellness cabinet position, but then here's the kicker: nobody talking about his policies, everyone talking about his cold plunge routine. That's where we are, folks. In 2025, leaders aren't judged by their policies, they are judged by how well they can survive freezing water. Because here's the truth: leadership isn't about big, flashy moments. It's not about the speeches on the headlines. It's about the boring stuff, the little, almost invisible habits you build every day. And today, we are going to make boring powerful. So let's talk about big lifestyle overhauls. You know the type, it's January 1st, and you're feeling unstoppable. You're like, this year, I wake up at 5, meditate like a monk, drink green juice that tastes like envy and sadness, run 10 miles, and journal like Oprah, going to call me for book recommendations. Fast forward 3 days, and where are you? Rage eating a muffin in your car, blasting Taylor Swift's anti hero, and Googling, is kale a scam? Spoiler alert, it might be. Green juice, by the way, is the liquid disappointment. It's a sadness in a bottle with celery aftertaste. And don't even get me started on those runs. 10 miles? Who are we kidding? I'm pretty sure after mile 3, most people are just running for survival like a bear chasing them. So here's the thing: big changes are sexy in theory, but in practice, they are exhausting. And exhausting doesn't scale. You can't hustle harder your way to better life if you're so tired you're crying into a $12 smoothie. And this isn't just for you, this is everyone. I had a friend who decided he was going to do the 75 hard challenge. You know, the one where you work out twice a week, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages of a book, and basically live like a Navy SEAL without the ocean. Well, day one, he was crushing it, posting motivational quotes on Instagram, tagging his workouts with hashtags like hashtag beast mode, hashtag grind time. Day 5, he was walking into the gym like a zombie, holding a half full water bottle like it's a trophy and muttering, I can't feel my legs. And he quit on day 6. And now his idea of self care is a Costco side bag of tortilla chips and Netflix. Look, I get it. Big overhauls feels good at the start, but they are like fireworks. They explode with excitement and then fizzle out, leaving you in a cloud of smoke, wondering what just happened.
So, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we think the only way to improve is to go big or go home? I'll tell you why. Because big changes feel dramatic, they look good on paper. They let us imagine this future version of ourselves who has it all together. The person who is running marathons, blending kale smoothies, and smiling at 6 a.m. like Disney princess with a coffee addiction. But here's the truth, that future version of you isn't showing up because you decided to overhaul your entire life in one go. They are showing up because of small, consistent actions you take day after day. That's why today we are talking about micro habits, the 2 minute ritual that Fortune 100 leaders swear by. Because here's the deal, small wins lead to a big leadership. And honestly, they are so simple. Even your rage eating, swift listening self can get started. And let's be real, if Justin Trudeau's cold plunge can make headlines, your 2 minute habit can make a difference. Because leadership isn't about big, flashy moments, it's about what you do when nobody is watching. It's about building small wins that stack up over time, emotionally and physically. And today, we are going to show you how. So let's break down how small habits build big leadership. We are using Ascendancy Action System, which has three pillars: consistency, emotional agility, and integration. I'll share some real world stories plus a personal one to show you how this works. All right. So let's talk about consistency first off. Let me say this, I'm not talking about that hustle culture version of consistency where you are grinding 24/7, fueled by overpriced cold brew and sheer desperation. You know, the why rise and grind, it's like turning yourself into human espresso machine. Nobody wants that, not even Starbucks. What I'm talking about is showing up for yourself in small, sustainable ways. The kind of consistency that doesn't scream grind, but quietly whispers, hey, you're doing okay, let's keep going. One of my coaching clients, let's call her Sarah, has a morning ritual I like to call the 2 minute mission statement every day. Before she even touches her inbox, she sits down, takes a deep breath, and writes down one intention for the day. That is it. Just one thing. It could be something as simple as listen more in the meetings, or be present during conversation, or walk extra 10 steps. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing that is going to land her on the cover page of Time magazine. But here's the thing, it works. It's like post-it note for your soul. It doesn't shout, it whispers direction. And those whispers, they guide her through the chaos of a day, like a GPS for her brain. No recalculating needed. And the best part, her team noticed. They started saying things like, Sarah, you seem to be focused lately. Meanwhile, she's thinking it's because I finally stopped doom scrolling TikTok at 9 a.m. Look, I'm not here to judge your TikTok habits, okay? But let's be real. If your morning routine involves 45 minutes of watching a guy teach a cat to play the keyboard, it's probably not setting up for peak leadership performance. Here's here's the thing about consistency. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing again and again, even when it is boring. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't skip brushing your teeth just because you're not going to end up on the cover of Dental Hygiene Monthly, right? You do it because it's small, it's simple, it prevents your life from falling apart, or at least your gums falling apart. See, consistency works the same way. It is the daily maintenance that keeps you on track. It's not flashy, it's not exciting, but it is foundation for everything else. I like to think of consistency like learning to play the piano. You don't sit down on day one, bang out Beethoven's fifth, right? You practice scales over and over. It's repetitive, honestly, kind of boring, but it's what builds the muscle memory. And then one day you find yourself playing something beautiful without even thinking about it. That's what consistency does for your leadership. It builds the muscle memory of showing up even when you don't feel like it. Here's the bottom line, Consistency is not sexy. I get that. It's not going to get you a standing ovation, but it is what separates people who make progress from people who stay stuck. Small wins add up. And those small wins, they are what lead to big leadership. So if you are feeling overwhelmed by idea of doing it all, don't. Start small. Start with 2 minutes, write down one intention for your day because sometimes the smallest actions lead to the biggest results. And if Sarah can do it and still have time to avoid TikTok cat videos, I promise you can too. All right, let's get into emotional agility because leadership is not just about what you do, it is about how you show up. And let me tell you, most of us think we are crushing it until we are not. Take Raj, another one of my clients. This guy was running his team like it was Hunger Games. Every email was a crisis, every meeting was a fire drill. At this point, I'm convinced he was walking into office every morning, looking at his team and saying, "May the odds be ever in your favor." And just Raj was not just leading the chaos, he was voluntarily attributing to it. Every single day someone misses a deadline, Raj is there waving his hand like, "I'll fix it." Team tension. Raj is out there trying to meditate like he's on Dr. Phil's. Here's the thing, Raj thought being a great leader meant solving every problem, putting out every fire, and basically being the superhero of his team. But that is not leadership. That is burnout with a cape. Leadership is not about being the calm all the time. It is about knowing when to stay calm and when to let go. It's about being adaptable, not reactive. So here's what I taught Raj: the 2 minute emotional reset. And trust me, this isn't some overcomplicated technique where you have to chant affirmations in some odd language while balancing one like in a no. It's very simple, and here is how it works. When you feel your stress bubbling up, just pause, take 2 deep breaths, and ask yourself the question: what is the real priority here? It's literally like hitting Control or Delete on your brain. You're interrupting the chaos loop and giving yourself a second to reset. And guess what? It worked. Raj stopped overreacting to every little thing and he started responding with clarity instead of panic. And you know what's really fascinating? His team noticed that they stopped treating him like a human fire alarm. Because here's the deal, when you show up grounded, calm, and focused, it sends a ripple effect through your team. Emotional agility is not just about your stress level, it's about creating an environment where your team can thrive. And let me just say, it is not easier to lead when people are not frantically wondering if their boss is about to yell everything is a fire. You know how on airplanes they say, put your oxygen mask on before helping others? Emotional agility in leadership version of that. Because if you are gasping of air and panicking, you're not helping anyone. Raj used to be the guy running up and down the metaphorical airplane aisle, right? Trying to save everyone while forgetting to breathe himself. And let me tell you, you can't lead anyone from the place of panic. So the bottom line is emotional agility is a superpower. It is what keeps you grounded even when everything else feels like it's on fire. It is not pretending to be calm all time. It is about knowing where the panic button is not. So if you're feeling like that, if your days feel like a constant game of whack-a-mole with problems popping up left and right, it's time to pause. Take 2 deep breaths and reset. Because when you lead with emotional agility, you don't just handle stress better, you show up. You show up for your team what great leadership looks like in action. Now, let's talk about integration. This is the part where your habits stop being tasks on a to do list and start becoming part of your DNA. This is the difference between saying, I have to, and saying, this is just who I am. Think about it. You don't wake up every morning and debate whether or not to brush your teeth, right? You just do it because it's part of who you are. Someone who enjoys minty fresh breath and not getting judged by their dentist, that's integration in action. One leader I worked with, Maria, uses something I have dubbed the post-it method. It's so simple. It's ridiculous, but works like magic. Every morning, Maria writes her top three priorities for the day on a post-it note and sticks it right on her laptop. Why? Because it is a constant visual reminder for her of what actually matters. Not the 10,000 emails in inbox, not the Slack messages, pinging for every 5 seconds, just those three things she decided are most important. It is like a post-it note. It is like little accountability buddy if you think about it. Except it doesn't nag, it doesn't judge, it just sits there quietly reminding her to focus. Honestly, we could all use a post-it note friend in our lives. Imagine if we had one for everything. Like, hey, maybe don't eat that froth donut. Or text your mom back before she calls you out on Facebook. It has happened. Here's why integration is so powerful. When you integrate a habit, it stops being something you have to think about. It becomes automatic. Think about riding a bike. Remember when you were a kid and riding bike felt like this huge complicated thing, right? You would wobble, fall, get scrapped up, cry, and maybe threaten to quit forever. But then one day something clicks. You were not thinking about balance or pedaling anymore. You were just riding. That's what happens when you integrate a habit. It becomes part of your rhythm, a part of you. And that's where the magic is. Because now you're not wasting mental energy deciding whether or not to do the thing, right? You're just doing it. And here is my favorite analogy of our integration. It's like duct taping greatness to your routine. At first, it feels awkward, a little clunky, but over time, you forget the tape. You forget that it's even there. Maria doesn't wake up every morning thinking, oh, I need to remember to use my post it note. No, she just doesn't. It's part of her process now. And because of that, she's more focused, more productive, and way less stressed. And let's be honest, duct tape fixes everything: your habits, your broken chair, your kids, science projects that's due tomorrow. It's the MVP of tools, right? And when you integrate a habit, it becomes duct tape of your life. It holds everything together. Here's another example of integration: gym people. You know the ones, right? The folks who never miss a workout. And you're secretly convinced they must have a blood pact with their Peloton instructor or something, right? But here's the truth: they are not superhuman. They have just integrated working out into their identity. And one trick they use: laying out their gym clothes the night before. It's simple, almost silly, but it removes the mental hurdle. They see the shoes, they put them on, and boom, they're out the door before the brain has time to argue. That's integration. It's not about motivation, it's about removing friction and making the habit automatic. See, integration is where your habits stop being something you do and start becoming part of who you are. You're not just someone who writes priorities on a post it, you are a focused leader. You're not just someone who goes to gym, you are an active, healthy person. That's the power of integration. It shifts your identity and rewires how you show up every single day. So, if you have been struggling to stick with a habit, the problem might not be the habit itself. The problem is you haven't integrated it. You are still treating it like a task instead of letting it become part of your rhythm. So start small, make it a post it note. Maybe it is gym shoes by the door. Whatever it is, just duct tape that greatness to your routine until it sticks. Because when you integrate your habits, you're not just building systems, you're building you. You're building the new you. All right. It's time to turn this episode into action because let's be real. Listening is great, but doing, that where magic happens. So here's the deal. I'm challenging you to join me in the 7-day micro leader challenge. Now, before you roll your eyes over and think, great, another challenge where I'm supposed to drink juice and run a marathon, let me stop you right there. There's no kill involved, no 5 a.m. wake ups, and definitely no running, unless it's to grab a coffee, in which case, run flee, my friend. So we'll keep it simple. Pick one micro habit. And when I say micro, one mean tiny, like laughable small, something so simple that you would feel ridiculous not doing it, right? Want to start journaling? Write one sentence. Want to move more? Take a 2-minute walk. Want to focus better? Set one intention in the morning. See, these are ridiculously simple things that you would not even consider not doing, right? Once you have that set, attach it to something you already do. This is the secret sauce. This is, you're creating a whole new routine. You're not creating the whole new routine. You're piggybacking off something that's already happening. Brushing your teeth, when you're brushing your teeth, think of one thing you're grateful for, right? You can immediately go and write it back into sentences. Waiting for your coffee to brew, write down your top priority for the day. Getting in your car, take 3 deep breaths before you start the engine, and just commit it for 7 days. That's it, 7 days. No lifetime membership, no till death do us part, just a week. And you can do anything for a week, right? Now, you might be thinking, Singh, how is writing one sentence or taking a 2-minute walk going to change my life? And I get it. It sounds almost too small to matter. But here is the thing, small habits are sneaky. They are like gateway drug to greatness. You start with one tiny habit, and before you know it, you have got the momentum. And momentum is the real game changer. It's the difference between I should do this to I already doing this. Think of it, think of it like planting a seed. You're not going to see a full-grown tree tomorrow, but give it little sunshine, give it water, and in no time you got roots and eventually shade. See, small habits are roots of your leadership tree. And right now we are just planting it. Let me tell you about how this worked for me. A while back, I realized I was spending my morning frantically scrolling through emails before I even had coffee. It was chaos. My brain felt like one of those circus acts where they were spinning 10 plates at once. And let's just say I was dropping a lot of plates. So I decided to start a tiny habit. Before opening my inbox, I would take 2 minutes to write down my top priority for the day. That's it, just 2 minutes. And let me tell you, it was game changer. That tiny habit shifted my entire day. I went from reacting to my inbox to leading with intention. And the best part, it took less time than it does to scroll Instagram and wonder why everyone else's vacation looked better than yours, right? Now here is where it gets fun. I want you to share your micro habit with me. Post it, tag me, and tell me how it is going. And if you're thinking, but what if my micro habit is too small? Good, that's the point. Small is sustainable. Plus, if you tag me, I might feature you on next episode. Bragging rights included, no kill required. And hey, if your habit involves something ridiculous, like doing squats while brushing your teeth, send me a video. I promise I will laugh with you. Not at you, probably with you. So here's the bottom line. Small wins create big momentum, and momentum is what turns intentions into habits and habits into leadership. So pick your micro habit, keep it small, keep it simple, and watch how it starts to change everything. All right. That's your challenge, 7 days, one micro habit, and start off something powerful. Because leadership is not about grand gestures, right? It is about showing up consistently in small, meaningful ways. And talking about consistency, talking about intention, talking about uh, small habits. This is the 27th episode. And in every episode, we do the same mindful breathing exercise. So let's just focus on that for 2 minutes. Again, very simple. Take deep breath for count of 4, hold and release. Exhale for count of 4, hold for count of 4, right? Let's do it. So take a deep inhale, count of 4, hold and exhale and hold. And inhale, hold, exhale and hold. And the last time, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Wow. Every time I do it, it's phenomenal, right? So that's your challenge, 7 days, one micro habit, and the start of something powerful, because leadership is not about grand gestures. It's about showing up consistently in the small, meaningful ways. Next week, we are diving into what happens when motivation ghosts you. Seriously, because let's face it, motivation is that flaky friend who is all in at the party but mysteriously disappears when it's time to clean up. So until then, remember, small habits, big leadership. Let's make it happen. I'll see you next time. All right, before we wrap this up, let's talk about uh, the toolkit. Uh, It packed with 5 daily micro practices designed to help you build momentum, boost resilience, and make an impact. These are the same tools Fortune 100 leaders use to stay consistent, grounded, and focused. And here's the best part, it's free. My question for you, if it is free, if it is simple, if it is small, what is stopping you? Don't wait for a perfect Monday. Don't wait for motivation to magically show up. Start now. Because leadership is not about waiting, it's about stepping up even when you don't feel ready. I'll be sharing straightforward, zero tequila needed tools to help you keep moving even when motivation is MIA. So grab your free mindful leader toolkit, stack those tiny wins, and remember, leadership is about progress, not perfection. Leadership is about nailing perfection. It's about making progress one small step at a time. I keep saying that. You are tuned in with Singh on Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives right here on the Transformation Network. Have a nice week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Mindful Leadership Transforming Lives. With me, your host, Singh. We are honored to have you join us on this journey to explore the transformative power of mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and authentic leadership. Tune in every week on transformationtalkradio.com at noon Pacific on Tuesdays, where we will continue to explore how mindful leadership can create a ripple effect of positive changes in your life and lives of those you influence. This show is dedicated to helping you lead with purpose, presence, and passion. Whether you're navigating the complexities of business, building stronger connection with your team, or striving to make a meaningful impact in the world around you. To learn more about the show, access additional resources, or dive deeper, visit singhpowerupcoach.com. Remember, leadership isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are. Let's continue to transform lives together, one mindful moment at a time. See you next week.